33.
There we go. Chapter 33. So, in the last chapter, Jacob was on his way to meet Esau, his brother, and he wrestled with someone he thought of as God in the middle of the night and never saw his face. And so I think that passage, I think it's meant to leave us a little bit of doubt. So I'm just going to frame it that way, as if there's some doubt as to whether or not he wrestled with God. So chapter 33 starts, Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau was coming, and with him 400 men. He divided his children between Leah, Rachel, and the 2 servants. He put the servants and their children in front, Leah and her children after, and Rachel and Joseph at the rear. So, and he himself passed over in front of them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near his brother. So we have some very interesting language here, right? Mm-hmm. Esau is coming with an army.
Right.
And Jacob has divided up his people, his very small group of people.
Because he doesn't know how his brother is going to be, whether or not
right.
he's going to embrace him or attack him.
Right. He doesn't know how his brother is going to approach him, but he has an army. Mm-hmm. And so Jacob goes first. And he puts the servants and their children, I mapped this out ahead of time, Bilhah and Zilpah, their children are Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And then they're the ones he loves the least, right?
Right.
Yeah, he didn't choose them. Mm-hmm. His wives chose them. And then Leah, the wife that he loved less, right? Mm-hmm. Her children are Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. And they go next. And then, of course, the wife he loved the most, exactly. And her son is Joseph. And later on, she'll have another son, Benjamin. But that's not yet. So he sets them out in the order in which they are the least loved to the most. So that I think the thinking is, if this army is going to attack them, then they will go out in the order in which he loved them. And he is going to go first. So this really stands out to me. He is definitely playing favorites. He's making a statement. And it's not a statement to Esau, right? Because Esau hasn't met them yet. Mm-hmm. And so Esau is not going to get the statement. The statement is to his family. It has to be, who else would it be to? So it says then that he himself passed over in front of them, and he bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near his brother. And I'm thinking they are a far distance away. Because it says next, Esau ran to meet him, embraced him, fell on his neck, kissed him, and they wept. And I'm thinking about this, Jacob is bowing down. And he has a lot of time to do this, right? It takes him a lot of time to bow down 7 times. Mm-hmm. So Esau has to be far away in order to run to him in the time it takes Jacob to bow 7 times to the ground.
Right.
And it seems like it's saying that Jacob is bowing down and getting up and bowing down again and getting up and bowing down again. This is a very labored process. And of course, he's seeing Esau running towards him this whole time. But it's not really inviting us to think about the space in which they're covering. Like Esau might be bringing an army, and so we're thinking of these two armies, and maybe we're thinking about the space that they're traversing. Except then it switches that language to this language of love and emotion. And it's asking us not to think in terms of a battle that's coming, but in terms of their connection. It says, Esau ran to meet him, embraced him, fell on his neck, kissed him, and they wept. He lifted up his eyes and saw the women and children and said, "Who are these with you?" He said, "The children whom God has graciously given your servant." Then the servants came near with their children, and they bowed themselves. Leah also and her children came near and bowed themselves. After them, Joseph came near with Rachel, and they bowed themselves. Esau said, "What do you mean by all this company which I met?" So that would be the servants in the last chapter that Jacob had sent on before. What do you mean by this company which I met? Jacob said, "To find favor in the sight of my Lord." Esau said, "I have enough, my brother. Let that which you have be yours." Jacob said, "Please know, if I have now found favor in your sight, then receive my present at my hand, because I have seen your face as one sees the face of God. And you were pleased with me. Please take the gift that I brought to you, because God has dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough." He urged him, and he took it. Esau said, "Let's take our journey, and let's go. I will go before you." So here we see that the two are reconciled because of Jacob's humility, right? He has been on a journey and he has been changed. And his humility towards his brother, his graciousness, his generosity towards his brother are probably the only reason that Esau is so willing to forgive. And Esau said, "Let's take our journey and let's go, and I will go before you." Jacob said to him, "My Lord knows that the children are tender, and that the flocks and herds with me have their young. If they overdrive them one day, all the flocks will die. Please let my Lord pass over before his servant, and I will lead on gently, according to the pace of the livestock that are before me, and according to the pace of the children, until I come to my Lord to Seir." Esau said, "Let me now leave you with some of the people who are with me." He said, "Why? Let me find favor in the sight of my Lord." So Esau returned that day on his way to Seir. Jacob traveled to Succoth, built himself a house, and made shelters for his livestock. Therefore, the name of the place is called Succoth, which of course means tents.
Tents?
Tents, because he built tents there. And there's a Jewish holiday called the Feast of Tabernacles, or Sukkot.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same word. And my Bible transliterates it differently, of course. But that is Sukkot. Jacob came in peace to the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Padan Aram and encamped before the city. So you might remember these places before, where Abraham and Isaac had lived, in Shechem and Padan Aram, and encamped before the city. He bought the parcel of ground where he had spread his tent at the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces, and mine says 100 pieces of money.
Mine says silver.
Okay. And that's probably a better translation. He erected an altar there and called it El Elohe Israel, which of course means God, the God of Israel. What's interesting to me, and I'm just going to leave this as a footnote in our Bible study, is El Elohe Israel. El is not only the name of the God of Israel, but also of the main deity of Canaan. And it says that Jacob came in peace to the city. So when he erects this altar, it's to the god El. Well, El is both the name just God, but it also means the God of Canaan. And it could be that he is making peace by making this altar in this very vague way to his God, but also when he's away, maybe it's also to the God of the Canaanites. He leaves it just vague there. But it does say God, the God of Israel. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave that there because it's vague. All right, chapter 34. And this one might be a bit disturbing to us. So that's a warning to anyone watching on YouTube that this chapter is a bit disturbing. It contains violence against women. And so that's a moment to pause if people are following along online. Verse 1, Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she bore to Jacob, and we haven't met this person yet. This person is being introduced for the first time. Went out to see the daughters of the land. Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, the prince of the land, saw her. He took her, lay with her, and humbled her. His soul joined to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the young lady and spoke kindly to the young lady. So this isn't necessarily violent. We're left with that bit of vagueness there. Shechem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, "Get me this young lady as a wife." Now Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter, and his sons were with his livestock in the field. Jacob held his peace until they came. So he's heard this rumor. He doesn't know if it's true, and he withholds judgment. He keeps his cool for now. Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to talk with him. The sons of Jacob came in from the field when they heard it. The men were grieved, and they were very angry because he had done folly in Israel in lying with Jacob's daughter, a thing that ought not to be done. So Jacob is withholding his judgment, but his sons are not so level-headed. Hamor talked with them, saying, "The soul of my son Shechem longs for your daughter. Please give her to him as a wife. Make marriages with us. Give your daughters to us and take our daughters for yourselves. You shall dwell with us, and the land will be before you. Live and trade in it and get possessions in it." Shechem said to her father and to her brothers, "Let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you will tell me, I will give. Ask me a great amount for a dowry, and I will give whatever you ask of me, but give me the young lady as a wife." So this is so far not a terrible story. We've definitely come across worse in Genesis. And we have a young man in love, possibly a young lady in love as well.
Right.
And He's willing to do anything for her hand in marriage. But now we see a bit of a return to form. The sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor, his father, with deceit when they spoke, because he had defiled Dinah, their sister, and said to them, "We can't do this thing, to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that is a reproach to us. Only on this condition will we consent to you, if you will be as we are, that every male of you be circumcised. Then we will give our daughters to you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. But if you will not listen to us and be circumcised, then we will take our sister, and we will be gone." Their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. The young man didn't wait to do this thing, because he had delight in Jacob's daughter, and he was honored above all the house of his father. Hamor and Shechem his son came to the gate of their city and talked with the men of their city, saying, "These men are peaceful with us. Therefore, let them live in the land and trade in it, for behold, the land is large enough for them. Let's take their daughters to us for wives, and let's give them our daughters. Only on this condition will the men consent to us to live with us, to become one people, if every male amongst us is circumcised as they are circumcised. Won't their livestock and their possessions and all their animals be ours?" Now here we see that the deceit is on both sides. "Only let's give our consent to them, and they will dwell with us." All who went out of the gate of his city listened to Hamor and Shechem his son, and every male was circumcised, all who went out of the gate of his city. So we have a little bit of deceit on their side, not to the extent that we see on Jacob's side, but honestly, Jacob's been doing this a long time. But it's not Jacob being deceitful with them. Now it's his sons. His sons have learned their father's lessons well.
Well, yeah.
Because here in verse 25 it says, "On the third day, when they were sore," because after an operation, you're not sore that day. You're sore
you're
a
still
couple
numb,
days later.
yeah.
That's when it really hits.
Yeah.
On the third day, when they were sore, two of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword, came upon the unsuspecting city, and killed all the males. And of course, it wouldn't have even been difficult. They couldn't stand.
Mhm.
They killed Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house and went away. Jacob's son came on the dead and plundered the city, because they had defiled their sister. They took their flocks and their herds, their donkeys, that which was in the city and that which was in the field, and all their wealth. They took captive all the little ones and their wives, and took as plunder everything that was in the house. Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have troubled me to make me odious to the inhabitants of the land amongst the Canaanites and the Perizzites. I am few in number. They will gather themselves together against me and strike me, and I will be destroyed, I and my house." But they said, "Should he deal with our sister as a prostitute?"
Wow.
Jeez.
Oh boy.
Oh, goodness.
So Jacob thinks it to be fair to deal with the people of the land, but his sons see that the people have defiled their sister, and they see it as, "Should he deal with our sister as a prostitute?" is literally what they say. And it's not like what they say holds no merit. But then looking back in our modern context, we see that the man really did love their sister.
Right. Mhm.
And there's not a right side to this. There's definitely a worse side to this, but there's not one that dealt in 100% upright way.
But also the requirement was for all the males to be circumcised.
Mhm.
That's another point that
Yep.
should not be forgotten.
They gave their word
Yeah,
and
that's right.
they didn't uphold it.
Mhm.
And this is something we could both sides this. We could,
Mhm.
but the sons of Jacob are definitely in the wrong here.
Yeah.
And I don't know, this is something, the first time I read through it, it was something very heavy on my heart to
Mhm.
read.
Mhm.
And it still is. I don't know how to deal with that. I think it's important to note that the Bible doesn't tell us who's right. It doesn't tell us that these are the good guys and these are the bad guys. And it leaves us to just think about those questions, to meditate on them, and to really meditate on how disturbing they are. But sometimes life gives us disturbing questions. And so if when life gives us disturbing questions, if we've already meditated on these disturbing questions, maybe we're prepared when our lives throw us those curveballs. We're going to move on, though, because there's not a lot of nice, neat answers to be had here. So chapter 35. God said to Jacob, "Arise and go up to Bethel." And that's a nice, neat answer, because Jacob is saying the people of the land here are not going to be peaceful with us anymore after we've done this thing. God says to Jacob, and Jacob is probably asking God, where should I go from here? God says, "Arise and go up to Bethel and live there. Make there an altar to God, who appeared to you when you fled the face of Esau, your brother." So God is reminding him that there was a time in Jacob's life when he was deceitful and he had to flee. Now that his children have done it, God is saying, move and go to this other place. Then Jacob said to his household and to all who were with him, "Put away the foreign gods that are amongst you. Purify yourselves and change your garments. Let's arise and go up to Bethel. I will make there an altar to God, who answered me in the day of my distress and was with me on the way which I went." Then they gave to Jacob all the foreign gods which were in their hands, and the rings which were in their ears. And Jacob hid them under the oak which was by Shechem. They traveled, and a terror of God was on the cities that were around them, and they didn't pursue the sons of Jacob. So they have cause to pursue the sons of Jacob, but they don't because of the fear of the Lord. So Jacob came to Luz, that is Bethel, which is in the land of Canaan, he and all the people who were with him. He built an altar there and called the place El Bethel, because there God was revealed to him when he fled from the face of his brother. Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried below Bethel under the oak, and its name was called Allon Bakuth. I don't have a footnote there if either of your Bibles do.
Not on this page.
Hmm.
It says 11 on mine, and I don't even see 11.
Oh, okay. Well,
Among this says to 11 Hebrew El Shaddai.
Okay. Well, let's keep going then. God appeared to Jacob again when he came from Padan Aram and blessed him. God said to him, "Your name is Jacob. Your name shall not be Jacob anymore, but your name will be Israel." He named him Israel. God said to him, "I am God Almighty," which would be El Shaddai. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations will be from you, and kings will come out of your body. The land which I gave to Abraham and Isaac, I will give it to you, and to your offspring after you I will give the land. God went up from him in the place where he spoke with him. Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he spoke with him, a pillar of stone. He poured out a drink offering on it and poured oil on it. Jacob called the name of the place where God spoke with him Bethel. They traveled from Bethel. There was still some distance to come to Ephrath, and Rachel travailed. She had hard labor. When she was in hard labor, the midwife said to her, "Don't be afraid, for now you will have another son." As her soul was departing, for she died, she named him Benoni, but his father named him Benjamin. And here it says, Benoni means son of my trouble, but Benjamin means son of my right hand.
The son of my sorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Son of my trouble.
Yes.
Mm.
I think, and think about the reason why his father renamed him. And I'm thinking that he didn't want his son to grow up with that guilt. You know, with the constant reminder that his mother died in childbirth. I don't think he wanted that to be his son's legacy, to be his name. And so he calls him son of my right hand. In other words, the son that I keep near, the son that I love most. It says, Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, also called Bethlehem. Jacob set up a pillar on her grave. The same is the pillar of Rachel's grave to this day. Israel traveled and spread his tent beyond the tower of Eder. While Israel lived in that land, Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard of it. Now I read ahead just a little bit after this, but this is the last we hear of it for a while. And so we're told that Reuben has done this horrible thing, but it won't be dealt with for a while.
Goodness.
Yes. So that's something to keep in mind that will be dealt with later. Now, the sons of Jacob were 12. The sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel, Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's servant, Dan and Naphtali. The sons of Zilpah, Leah's servant, Gad and Asher. These are the sons of Jacob, who were born to him in Padan Aram. Jacob came to Isaac his father, to Mamre, to Kiriath Arba, which is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac lived as foreigners. The days of Isaac were 180 years. Isaac gave up the spirit and died, and was gathered to his people, old and full of days. Esau and Jacob, his sons, buried him. All right, chapter 36. Now, this is the history of the generations of Esau. So this is why that horrible thing from chapter 35 isn't going to be dealt with for a while. They have to talk about Esau first.
Okay.
Now, this is the history of the generations of Esau. That is Edom. Edom, of course, being the name of the land which Esau founded. Esau took his wives from the daughters of Canaan. Adah, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite, and Oholibamah.
It's hard to pronounce.
That is hard to pronounce. The daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zibeon, the Hivite, and Basemath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebaioth. Ada bore Esau Eliphaz. Basemath bore Ruel. Oholibamah bore Jeush, Jalem, and Korah. These are the sons of Esau, who were born to him in the land of Canaan. Esau took his wives, his sons, his daughters, and all the members of his household with his livestock, all his animals, and all his possessions, which he had gathered in the land of Canaan, and went into a land away from his brother Jacob, for their substance was too great for them to dwell together. That's kind of like Abraham and Lot.
Mhm.
And the land of their travels couldn't bear them because of their livestock. Esau lived in the hill country of Seir. Esau is Edom. So here it's going to remind us that Esau is the father of this nation that doesn't really sound like his name, but it's his nickname. All right, this is the history of the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in the hill country of Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Ada, the wife of Esau, and Reuel, the son of Basemath, the wife of Esau. The sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, and Gatam, and Kenaz. Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Ephah's son, and she bore to Eliphaz Amalek. These are the descendants of Ada, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Reuel: Nahath, Zerah, Shamath, and Mizah. These were the descendants of Basemath, Esau's wife. These were the sons of Oholibamah, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zibeon, Esau's wife. She bore to Esau Jeush, Jalem, and Korah. These are the chiefs of the sons of Esau. The sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn of Esau: chief Teman, chief Omar, chief Zepho, chief Kenaz, chief Korah, chief Gatam, chief Amalek. These are the chiefs who came to Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These are the sons of Ada. They are the sons of Reuel, Esau's son: chief Nahath, chief Zerah, chief Shammah, chief Mizah. These are the chiefs who came of Reuel in the land of Edom. These are the sons of Basemath, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Oholibamah, Esau's wife: chief Jeush, chief Jalem, chief Korah. These are the chiefs who came to Oholibamah, the daughter of Anna, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Esau, that is Edom, and these are their chiefs. So, just like we have the tribes of Israel, now we have the chiefs of Edom. These are the sons of Seir, the Horite, the inhabitants of the land: Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anna, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishan. You'll notice those are denoted by two different vowels, Dishon and Dishan.
Mhm.
That might not be coming across to people watching on YouTube. These are the chiefs who came to the Horites, the children of Seir in the land of Edom. The children of Lotan were Hori and Haman. Lotan's sister was Timnah. These are the children of Shobal: Alvan, Manahath, Ebal, Shepho, and Onam. These are the children of Zibeon: Aiah and Anna. This is Anna, who found the hot springs in the wilderness as he fed the donkeys of Zibeon his father. These are the children of Anna, Dishon and Oholabama, the daughter of Anna. These are the children of Dishon, Himdan, Eshban, Ithran, and Cheran. These are the children of Ezer. And I'm going to skip them. These are the children of Dishan, Uz, and Aran. These are the chiefs who came of the Horites, Chief Lotan, Chief Shobal, Chief Zibeon, Chief Anna, Chief Dishon, Chief Ezer, and Chief Dishan. These are the chiefs who came of the Horites according to their chiefs in the land of Seir. These are the kings who reigned in the land of Edom before any king reigned over the children of Israel. Bela, the son of Beor, reigned in Edom. The name of his city was Dinhabah. Bela died, and Jobab, the son of Zerah of Basra, reigned in his place. Jobab died, and Husham of the land of the Temanites reigned in his place. Husham died, and Hadad, the son of Bedad, who struck Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his place. The name of his city was Avith. Hadad died, and Samlah of Masrekah reigned in his place. Samlah died, and Shaul of Rehoboth by the river reigned in his place. Shaul died, and Baal-Hanan, the son reigned in his place. Baal-Hanan, the son of Akbor, died, and Hadar reigned in his place. The name of his city was Pau. His wife's name was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred, the daughter of Mazahab. These are the names of the chiefs who came from Esau according to their families after their places and by their names: Chief Timnah, Chief Avlah, Chief Jetheth, Chief Oholibimah, Chief Elah, Chief Pinon, Chief Kenaz, Chief Timon, Chief Mibzar, Chief Magdiel, and Chief Iram. These are the chiefs of Edom according to their habitations in the land of their possession. This is Esau, the father of the Edomites. I think that last sentence is interesting, that's how we know his legacy, right? This is Esau, the father of the Edomites. So the Edomites themselves are Esau's legacy.
Mhm.
That's why we know their names, because Esau is important. All of these names are important, even the ones I skipped over. I will admit it is sometimes difficult to get through these long genealogies. But our next chapter, and we're going to call it here because our next chapter really deserves our attention. Chapter 37. I believe this is the chapter in which Joseph is sold into slavery in Egypt. And
Yeah.
so it deserves a little more attention than the 10 minutes we have to
Well,
give
I'm sure.
it.
Mhm.
So before we call it, do you have any questions? And if anyone is on YouTube, I'd invite you to type in your questions now.
Well, it's no doubt that Jacob was chosen. Is all I can say.
Yes, he was a man
Yeah,
of
A
visions.
vision, and also chosen and loved
Mhm.
by the Lord.
Yeah.
You know, he
Where
has
did they get the names for their children? I mean,
Mm.
Was it a common?
I think these were common names. I think Oholabama might have been a common name because we see it come up more than once in that
Yeah,
genealogy.
Three times.
Yeah. And so some of these are clearly named after ancestors. Others, not so much. Some of these are foreign names, and some of them, they sound like they're Jewish names, but they're not all.
Mhm.
So they might be Canaanite names. They might be names from the other nations there that Esau married his wives from. So some of these could be Babylonian names because that is where Abraham was from. That's where Esau, that's where the Ishmaelites would have probably taken their names. But it's really uncertain where all of the names came from because they're also being preserved in Hebrew. And that means that if they're from, let's say, Assyria or Babylon, they're being preserved in another language, even so.
So, the Bible study is being streamed on
Mhm.
Zoom or
On YouTube.
YouTube.
So, yeah.
Because I won't be here for them.
Mhm.
I'll be in Texas.
Yeah, so
next Wednesday.
if you subscribe on YouTube, you can type in any questions you have, and there's a button here that lets me engage with my audience. I'm not entirely sure what they do, but I have a thing that starts a poll and another one starts a Q&A. I'm not sure what those do. I think I may have a way for people to ask their questions. I can mute, I know that. But it also isn't giving me, okay, I can select participants, but we don't have any participants today. So it doesn't let me interact with participants that don't exist.
Right, of course.
So
All
if
of this
you
is coming with me to Texas.
Yep.
So.
if you have a computer with a microphone, you can, or like my laptop has the camera and microphone built in. And you might be able to ask your questions live that way.
Okay.
All right, well, I'm going to end the live stream here.
Okay.